Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Court documents reveal disturbing new details about a Prattville High School teacher, one of 5 men arrested in a recent online child predator sting operation. 47-year-old Brian Pittman is accused of going to a hotel in Prattville the night of March 12th with the purpose of engaging in an unlawful sex act with a 15-year-old. An undercover officer was instead waiting for him, posing as the teen. Law enforcement officials say Pittman communicated by text, agreed to sex acts, and offered $60. He was arrested and charged with electronic solicitation of a child and traveling to meet a child for an unlawful sex act. He has since been released on bond.
Well, now to an update on a local sex crimes case.
A man facing child pornography charges in Opelika and sexually exploiting children in Columbus appearing for a bond hearing yesterday. Court documents show a judge found probable cause in the case of 33-year-old Don LaBeouf of Columbus. He was bound over to Lee County Circuit Court. Now, Opelika police arrested him in January after they say he sent sexually explicit messages to who he thought was a juvenile he planned on meeting at a sporting event.
His charges include 10 counts of child pornography in Alabama. This investigation comes after police received reports about him texting juveniles in December. The Muskogee County Sheriff's Office then searched his Columbus home. They say they found drugs, firearms, and a hidden camera in a bathroom used by children. LaBeouf facing 7 counts of eavesdropping and surveillance in Columbia.
To a shocking and disturbing story now out of Sun Prairie. A man is being accused of sexually assaulting and transporting a minor across state lines.
The Sun Prairie Police Department held a press conference on the incident about 2 hours ago. Our Maya Tate is live in Sun Prairie with more details. Maya, what can you tell us?
Eric and Sarah, I'm here on the 200 block of South Bird Street in Sun Prairie, where police say the incident occurred on Friday, March 20th. Earlier today, said they had been working in collaboration with the Harvard, Illinois Police Department and the FBI since Sunday, March 22nd, after they were contacted about an incident involving a Sun Prairie resident engaging in the sexual assault of a minor under the age of 12. 27-year-old Chase Schrader has been contacting the minor for a few weeks online before eventually paying for a rideshare to bring her the 79 miles to Sun Prairie. Schrader is a registered sex offender in the state of Wisconsin after previously being convicted for possession of visual depiction of sexual activities of a minor in Texas. When asked about if there were other victims involved, Chief Warwick said they don't know and the investigation is still currently ongoing. But the victim is back with family receiving resources in Illinois.
But this is a good opportunity for the Sun Prairie community to have these conversations with their children, to make sure they know what they're searching online, to know who they're communicating with. I'm not saying a conversation would have prevented this incident, but it's important that as a parent we do everything we possibly can to stop this. Police department here
Schrader was arrested today, March 25th, and charges have been referred to the Dane County District Attorney's Office. I'll have more on the incident tonight at 10, but for now, reporting live in Sun Prairie, Maya Tate, News 3 Now.
A man has been arrested in Montgomery County following a sexual abuse investigation. The sheriff's office says 38-year-old Christopher Maloney was taken into custody at his home on March 20th. He's charged with unlawful transaction with a minor involving an illegal sex act and procuring or promoting the use of a minor by electronic means. Maloney's currently being held in the Montgomery County Regional Jail.
New at 6, more charges filed against the mayor of Lawrence in Otsego County. This in connection to a multi-county sex crime investigation involving a child. State police out of Clifton Park arrested Frank Kovacs in Oneonta and charged him with 8 counts of rape, 3 counts of criminal sex act, and 3 counts of sexual abuse. State police say Kovacs allegedly raped and sexually assaulted a child in Saratoga County, which began when the child was reportedly 13, from 2008 to 2011, while in Clifton Park. Now, in June of last year, Mayor Kovacs was arrested by state police for rape and sex abuse charges following an Otsego County grand jury indictment.
Stop. 2 people are now facing charges in a disturbing child sex abuse case in Montgomery. Police arrested Breanne Smith on Wednesday. Court documents allege she blindfolded, sexually abused a child and recorded it. Police also arrested Robert Sanders IV and charged him with soliciting sex with a child on that same date. Police confirm those 2 cases are connected.
Well, a former Tupelo neurologist already sentenced to federal prison will also serve time on state charges related to child sexual abuse material. Ali Ahmad pleaded guilty to possession of child pornography in 1st District Circuit Court Tuesday. Judge Paul Funderburk sentenced Ahmad to 15 years in prison. Due to the nature of the crime, Ahmad's sentence will be day for day, and he will not be eligible for parole. Last month, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison and 5 years post-release supervision for federal charges related to the same crime. The state and federal terms are to run concurrently. Ahmad's work visa has been revoked. He will be deported after he has served his sentences.
Disturbing news involving 2 first responders in Newport News. Investigators say Virginia Beach police arrested a firefighter on 10 counts of child pornography charges.
We are told Dustin Kaufman has been employed with the department since 2023. He's currently on administrative leave without pay pending the outcome of this case.
A Sioux Falls man will continue his probation until an upcoming court date in about 3 months. That follows today's court order for psychosexual evaluations for Edgar Aaron Messenger.
Beth Warden talks to the father of the victims, who explains his frustration with the judicial system. It's our top story here at 6 o'clock.
It was a nightmare that any parent hopes will never happen. We're keeping this dad's identity private to not identify his children.
It was probably 3.5, 4 years ago.
It popped up in conversation, his daughter telling her dad that she and her sister had been sexually abused by a family friend who babysat them occasionally.
I reported it to Child's Voice.
The information was gathered and presented in court, alleging that Edgar Aaron Messenger had violated the girls, one of them for several years.
They said that it was a very big concern, and they said that they had enough to get this individual.
Charges were filed against Messenger.
Went from 2 first-degree rape charges and sexual contact with a child under 10 to a plea deal.
And Messenger accepted, pleading no contest to count 1 of sexual exploitation of a minor and count 2 abuse or cruelty to a minor. The process is gut-wrenching for the family, wiping away tears in court. They wonder, why is there an offer of a plea deal?
They're my babies. I mean, I'd do anything for them.
I asked Marcy's law victim advocate, Holly Waiter, to review the initial charges.
She has 3 counts. Some people are scared, so I think it takes a strong parent who's not afraid of the system and not scared of the system and want to go through that. And I mean, more power to the parents.
Waiter asks about the ongoing mental health for Messenger.
What education and what mental health level are they getting at the same aspects to not reoffend?
Their fear is that the next court date, he'll be going free on parole. In Sioux Falls, Beth Warden, Dakota News Now.
Thanks for joining us tonight on 18 News at 6. I'm Jessica Jukic.
And I'm Keith Edwards. First tonight at 6, the Eau Claire Police Department arrested a teacher today for an alleged child sexual assault in the Eau Claire area school district.
Today, the police department received information about a potential inappropriate relationship between a staff member and a student. The incident was reported to the school resource officer today, who began investigating 22-year-old Nadia Horn. Authorities say multiple victims have been identified. According to the school district website, Horn worked in special education at North High School. Horn was arrested for sexual assault of a child by a school staff person and second-degree sexual assault of a child. The school district superintendent, Mike Johnson, sent a message to families about that arrest. Johnson says they've suspended Horn without pay, pending a legal resolution. He went on to say, quote, learning about alleged inappropriate conduct by a staff member is deeply troubling for all of us. We kindly request that the school community respect the privacy of our students and their families and refrain from spreading rumors or speculation, end quote. ECASD is cooperating with the police investigation.
A man accused of buying child sexual abuse material online has received a lengthy prison sentence.
The Sumner County District Attorney says Jerry Matheny was sentenced to 75 years in prison today. He pleaded guilty to 15 counts of aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor last fall. The DA says he used Cash App to buy numerous pictures and videos of a Sumner County teen engaging in sexual activity. He is not eligible for parole.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Roop Raj. We begin with a Fox 2 exclusive. A teenage girl held captive for 10 days. Authorities say she left her Detroit home on her own and ended up with an accused predator. Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack is in studio with how she got away. Jess.
Well, Roop, according to police, it was actually all of the media coverage and Detroit police listing her as a missing person that finally rattled this guy loose enough to let her go. While she ended up with the 38-year-old on her own, it's unclear exactly how, because according to police, the two were strangers.
Boarded up windows, no knobs on the doors inside. A teen girl held captive in filth here on Detroit's west side, allegedly by 38-year-old Rennell Agee.
He held her down. She tried to stop him. He held her arms back, and he continued to assault her. She was screaming, and he did not stop.
According to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, it went on for 5 of the 10 days she was with him this month.
She couldn't leave because the windows were boarded up and there were no doorknobs on the door.
Knives by his bedside. Agee allegedly threatened to hurt her family into keeping her quiet until he got spooked.
The defendant finally let her leave when he saw that she was posted as a missing person on social media.
Agee was already out on just a personal bond for allegedly recently pointing a gun at his wife's head and threatening to, quote, blow her head off. He has a history of assaultive convictions and diagnosed mental illness, denying it all in court.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
When the missing teen girl returned home this month, the case was far from over for Detroit Police Major Crimes Unit.
We're going to investigate and follow any and all leads that are going to get us to a point where we can file charges.
In this case, a horror story, but Commander Rebecca McKay says all missing children's stories are vetted thoroughly.
I would warn anybody out there who decides they want to take in one of these young runaways that we're probably going to figure out who you are and what's been happening.
So I want to underscore one point from the story there. Ronell Agee, the suspect in this case, he was on a personal bond, out on a personal bond on tether at this home on the west side when this allegedly all happened, when this girl was held captive for 10 days. So he was already in a lot of trouble with the law. Since then, the judge making, I would assume, is the right decision in this case with 11 felonies, remanding him to custody, of course, innocent until proven guilty as this case moves forward.
Yeah, but the bond question and issue has always been something that's come up so often about whether there's appropriate bond for dangerous people out there.
Yeah, and he has a history, I think 3 other assaultive crimes in the past. Now, those were convictions, and it's hard. Sometimes it lays flat on a piece of paper in front of the judge or magistrate, and they don't necessarily know the ins and outs. But in this case, I think it was the right decision, and we're just glad that little girl is safe tonight.
I think there's a lot of moms and dads who agree with you out there that it was the right decision. Jessica Dupnack for us live tonight. Thank you.
A deputy with Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is facing serious allegations in Northern California. Darren Van Arsdale is accused of sexual misconduct while off duty. KCRA 3's Anahita Jafari is following the case.
A Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy is behind bars after investigators accused him of sexual misconduct involving a minor. 34-year-old Darren Van Arsdale is far from home, sitting in this jail after disturbing allegations. It all started on March 18th when Stanislaus County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of a runaway teenager. Deputies found her and brought her home, but she revealed shocking new information. She told deputies there were inappropriate sexual conversations online between her and LA Sheriff's Deputy Arsdale. Detectives say Arsdale and the teenager knew each other's ages and had connected on social media before he asked for inappropriate photos. The Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit and the Human Exploitation and Trafficking Team arrested Arsdale in Calabasas on 3 felony charges.
When it comes to our agencies working together, the community should know and needs to know that, once again, it doesn't matter what you do, that we're going to hold you accountable. And more importantly, I think through all this, we just need to make sure that the victim and the family are kept in our thoughts as we go through this, because it's extremely traumatic to be in the situation that she's in.
The deputy has been relieved of duty pending the outcome of the criminal investigation. In Stanislaus County, I'm Anahita Jafari, KCRA 3 News.
Arsdale has a court appearance set for tomorrow afternoon.
And now to a few arrests in Hopkins County. A Nortonville man spending time in jail after police say he sexually assaulted a child. 24-year-old Joseph Walker, pictured there, was arrested yesterday and charged with rape. Police say he had sex with an underage victim and gave them marijuana. He's currently being held in the Hopkins County Jail without bond.
A former fraternity member is facing child sex charges. UT police arrested Luke Jeffrey Herman a week ago at the Beta Epsilon Chi house on the University of Tennessee campus. That is according to UT police crime logs. A report from the Sumner County Jail shows the 19-year-old is charged with 4 counts of aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. He was booked and released on bond the same day. A spokesperson for Beta Epsilon Chi gave 10 News a statement saying, in part, they were deeply troubled to learn of the charges against this member. They say they took immediate steps to suspend him for fraternity housing and activities. Beta Epsilon Chi is a Christian fraternity, and leaders say they hold their members to high standards of conduct.
A former employee of Caprock Academy was sentenced today in an attempted sexual assault case. Shane Chatfield pleaded guilty to 1 count of attempted sexual assault. Chatfield was first arrested in September of last year after sending inappropriate text messages to an adult who was pretending to be a child. In court this afternoon, he took responsibility for his actions, apologizing to the community. Our news team present in the hearing says several family members and friends spoke, asking for a reduced sentence and speaking well of his character. Chatfield, who has been under house arrest since he was released on bond, will register as a sex offender. He will not spend any time behind bars, but was sentenced to 5 years of probation, limited access to computers, no social media, no contact with children, and 480 hours of public service.
Tracking crime tonight, a former teacher and coach at Elkton Middle School will spend the next several years behind bars after pleading guilty to several counts of sexually abusing a child. Last September, John Rose IV took responsibility in Bedford County Circuit Court on 6 counts of taking indecent liberties with a child and 2 additional counts of having carnal knowledge of a minor. On Monday, a judge initially sentenced Rose to 20 years in prison for those crimes, but suspended all but 6 of those years. He's also set to serve 7 years of probation following his release. According to court records, Rose will also have a court hearing May 4th in Rockingham County to face 2 additional charges of committing indecent acts with a child in a custodial role.
New tonight, a former Riverside Elementary School paraeducator will spend 30 years behind bars for producing and distributing child pornography. Today, Eastern Washington District Federal Court Judge Thomas Rice sentenced 30-year-old Dallas Schuler to 30 years in prison. Investigators with the FBI say Schuler admitted to meeting with children to perform sexual acts and recording them in exchange for vapes and other goods. Schuler then shared those videos with others online. Here's what Riverside School District Superintendent Ken Russell had to say when Schuler pleaded guilty back in October.
Yeah, I just pray for healing, and I'm hopeful that this day brings a little bit more closure that can help with that healing, even though I know it's going to be a long time.
The FBI connected Schuler to the abuse of at least 37 children. He's ordered to pay more than $80,000 to his victims. After serving his sentence, he'll be released with supervision for the rest of his life.
Breaking today, Mobile florist Tyler McElwain pleading guilty in a federal child sex crimes case. McElwain previously entered a not guilty plea. Charges: sexual exploitation of a minor and attempted enticement of a minor. The initial federal indictment included 10 counts, including receiving, distributing, and possessing child sexual abuse material. Now, as part of a plea agreement, those remaining counts are expected to be dismissed at sentencing. The plea agreement also shows federal prosecutors are asking for a sentence within the official guidelines. McElwain was arrested at his home in February of 2025. Prosecutors say investigators found hundreds of images and videos of child sexual abuse material at that time, including images of infant victims. Sentencing is set for June. McElwain's attorney declined to comment after today's hearing. Prosecutors also did not comment.
Tonight, at least 20 years in prison for the Preble County man who raped a child. This happened in 2014. That was the year Daryl Colwell moved in with his girlfriend and her 7-year-old daughter. He sexually abused the child for a year. The victim told her mother about that abuse in 2024.
Now at 1:30, disturbing allegations against an Orange County teen accused of snatching a child off the street. That suspect has been behind bars since Monday after the weekend incident in Westminster. KTLA's Orange County Bureau Chief Chip Yost is live in Santa Ana with more on the developing story. Hi, Chip.
Yeah, hey there. Police say this was a stranger abduction and sexual assault, and that one of the reasons they were able to make an arrest is that they found surveillance video that appeared to show the suspect with his 8-year-old victim.
It is a nightmare, and that's why our thoughts are with the victim right now.
Westminster Police Commander Andy Stowers is talking about what he says happened here near Edwards and Trask on Saturday. That's when an 8-year-old boy, who earlier had been out playing football with friends, told officers he was approached by a man he did not know.
He disclosed to us that he had been outside playing, where a man unknown to him had dragged him to a location with less people around and sexually assaulted him.
Police say surveillance video helped lead them to 19-year-old Westminster resident Anthony Gonzalez, who has now been arrested in the case. While they don't know of any other victims at this point, investigators have not ruled that possibility out.
The case is still active and ongoing, and we're actively looking into any potential that he was related to any other cases, either in our city or in other surrounding cities throughout the county and other counties.
Gonzalez has been booked here into the Orange County Jail in Santa Ana on suspicion of kidnapping and other molestation-related charges. In Santa Ana, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
Getting answers, learning an Iredell County man accused of child sex crimes lives walking distance from a school. Thanks for joining us for WBTV News Live at 5. I'm Siobhan Bryan.
And I'm John Carter. Now, sheriff's deputies arrested the man Sunday after they say search warrants uncovered thousands of disturbing images.
Our Michael Warwick joining us now live at South Iredell High School with what happens next. Michael.
We can tell you this man's home is very close to this high school, but we're choosing in our reporting not to show that man's home because property records don't list him as the homeowner, nor is he the only person that lives there. This is 38-year-old Matthew Sells, accused by Iredell County deputies of having thousands of images of child sexual abuse material. His listed address, court records show, puts him walking distance from South Iredell High School.
That's scary. It's scary, and unfortunately, I feel like these things aren't caught as often as they should be.
An attorney who specializes in these types of cases tells me a homeowner convicted of child sex crimes would have to move if their house is within 1,000 feet of a school or a daycare. That's unless they bought their home before the school was built. Tiffany Dunn is a South Iredell parent. Mother to a daughter, this arrest is unnerving.
I think they should not be nowhere near the schools where the kids are, playgrounds, churches, things like that where there's kids. No, I don't, because as a mother, it just makes you worry.
A judge issued Sells a $250,000 bond. If he is ultimately convicted, an attorney tells me Sells would almost certainly have to move to comply with the state's sex offender registry. For parent Jamie Taylor, the case is too close for comfort.
I will say I've noticed that the Iredell County schools have really good security as far as not letting just anyone wander onto their properties. I would be interested to know how that plays out if he moves and where he has to go to, because I don't think he should be able to stay right beside a school.
Now, court records show Sells is still in jail. He is charged with 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. We're live in Troutman. Michael Warwick, WBTV, on your side.
All right, Michael, what a disturbing story there. Thank you so much.
A Clark County grand jury this afternoon indicting a high school band teacher for reportedly having a relationship with a student. This is just the latest in a string of Clark County School District employees getting in trouble with the law for acting inappropriately towards children. 8 News Now education reporter Joshua Piguero joining us now with the very latest of cases. Joshua?
Jordan Boucher was a teacher at Las Vegas High School. He was arrested last month accused of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student. His case is part of a handful of arrests since January of CCSD staffers. A grand jury indicted Boucher Wednesday after his arrest on February 23rd on 6 counts of school employee engaging in a sex act with pupil and 1 count of unlawful communication between a person of authority and pupil. An arrest report says the 36-year-old admitted to the relationship and told police he and the victim considered themselves boyfriend and girlfriend. Last month, the grand jury indicted another teacher, Brian Conway. The 48-year-old was a math teacher at Lawrence Junior High School and accused of sexting and groping a 13-year-old girl. An investigator said Conway touched the girl's body and kissed her. According to the child's father, Conway messaged the girl that, quote, he's ready to commit several felonies for her. Court records show Conway's scheduled to go to trial in April. In January, police arrested Nicholas Jefferson. CCSD says Jefferson successfully completed a background check last fall and was a volunteer at El Dorado High School. Jefferson is accused of trying to solicit sexual acts from a student in exchange for money and a modeling contract. And on top of all that, on Monday, Metro arrested 42-year-old Pernell Graham. He was a PE teacher at Cram Middle School when he reportedly forced a 14-year-old girl to perform sex acts on him. The attacks lasted until the girl turned 17 earlier this year. Brian?
And another CCSD teacher also sitting in the Clark County Jail without bail, Douglas Trinkle, facing 5 charges, including sexual assault and child abuse. Trinkle taught at Cimarron Memorial High School. Now, CCSD says he's not allowed on campus, and the incident involved a minor who wasn't a student at that high school.
For the latest on this and other stories, visit 8newsnow.com and tune into our live newscasts on Channel 8 every day at 6 and 11 p.m. or weekdays from 4 to 7 a.m.
Allegations made by a student saying that her teacher and football coach and the assistant principal sexually abused her for years, paying her and threatening her with harm if she ever spoke up. Good evening here at 6. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Denise Valdez. So today a judge set that 42-year-old man's bail at $350,000. 8 News Now education reporter Joshua Piguero in court. A warning here, though, this story does contain graphic details of an alleged sexual assault.
An assistant principal at a charter school made his first court appearance on Tuesday, where Clark County prosecutors revealed he had a relationship with a student for several years and threatened to harm her if she spoke up. Pernell Graham appearing in handcuffs and a jumpsuit. Clark County prosecutors revealing how the educator allegedly began having sex with a student when she was 14.
In the first instance of abuse, the victim detailed that he picked her up from her residence, took her to his residence, where he then forced her to take shots of alcohol before he assaulted her.
Investigators say Graham was the victim's flag football coach and PE teacher at Cram Middle School in North Las Vegas. An arrest report states Graham forced the teen to perform oral sex and would get aggressive if she didn't comply. She told police she would always say no, but was fearful of Graham due to his size.
He offered her money to stay quiet, making multiple cash payments to the victim that totaled approximately almost $5,000. Detectives were able to review records of those transactions on the victim's phone.
According to the arrest report, the victim would self-harm and felt disgusted after every sexual interaction. The sexual abuse reportedly started when she was 14 and ended earlier this year at the age of 17. The victim gave investigators a description of Graham's car, which matched the vehicle police seized. Detectives arrested Graham on Monday leaving a gym and told him he was a target of an investigation regarding a former student. When asked by police if he knew the student, he said she was a student he had at Cram. Pernell Graham is scheduled to make another court appearance on Thursday. Reporting in downtown Las Vegas at the Regional Justice Center, Joshua Piguero, 8 News Now.
Now, Metro previously investigated Pernell Graham for allegations of sexually abusing his stepdaughter, but that case was closed. Before becoming an assistant principal at the North Las Vegas Charter School, Graham taught at Monaco and Cram Middle Schools. Now, the Clark County School District has yet to respond to our request for comment.
For the latest on this and other stories, visit 8newsnow.com and tune into our live newscasts on Channel 8 every day at 6 and 11 p.m. or weekdays from 4 to 7 a.m.
A Preble County man will spend at least the next 2 decades in prison after being found guilty for raping a young girl. Daryl Caldwell was convicted of 2 counts of rape and 4 counts of gross sexual imposition back in January. Investigators say Caldwell began his actions when the girl was just 7 years old. In addition to his prison time, he must register as a Tier 3 sex offender for life.
Police are asking for your help identifying Fox 12's Most Wanted, a kidnapping suspect who abducted and sexually assaulted a teenage girl in southeast Portland.
Fox 12's Spencer Shaw spoke with people shopping near where this kidnapping happened. So, Spencer, obviously, it has to be unsettling for people to know the suspect is still on the loose tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Pete and Nora. The folks I talked to were shaken by this news. This is a very busy shopping center on Southeast 82nd. There's a movie theater, multiple restaurants and shops. And while the folks I talked to didn't recognize this man, they are concerned he's still out there. My name's Spencer Shaw. I'm a reporter with Channel 12. On Wednesday, Portland police released this sketch of a kidnapping suspect. So we went to the scene of the crime to see if any shoppers recognized the man. Have you recognized this man before? Do you come here?
No, I haven't.
Police are still looking for this suspect. We're just asking folks, do you recognize him at all? PPP says back on November 12th, it was the middle of the afternoon when a teenage girl was picked up by a man in a silver van near the Eastport Plaza shopping center on 82nd. The man then drove the girl to another part of town where he sexually assaulted her before she was able to escape.
That gets me real pissed off. I want to find him myself.
Julian Larrea spends most of his day walking along 82nd Street. While he didn't recognize the suspect, he says it's upsetting to hear something like this happened in his neighborhood.
I just describe it as safe for the most part, you know, until you got creeps like this coming around.
And this is scary because a lot of weird people
in this area.
But other folks who frequent the area say safety really depends on the time of day.
It's scary because, a lot of weird people. I come in the morning waiting when somebody opened up.
After hearing that the suspected kidnapper is still on the loose, other folks are being extra cautious while hoping he gets caught soon.
I just feel like we all need to be looking out for each other and really wish that men would hold other men accountable for things like this.
We'll be on the lookout for that guy, and if I see him, I'm going to see him.
Now, the suspect is described as a man in his mid to late 30s, about 5'8", 200 pounds, balding with long reddish brown hair and a beard. If you see him, you are encouraged to call the police. Reporting live in Southeast Portland, Spencer Schott, Fox 12 Oregon.
A teacher from one of Sydney's most prestigious schools is behind bars this afternoon, charged with child sex offences. Newington College casual music teacher Ben Collinge was arrested at his Beecroft home early this morning, accused of grooming a 14-year-old girl online. The 29-year-old allegedly pretended to be a 17-year-old boy, encouraging the girl to send sexually explicit material.
Reported to police by the parents who had the conversation with the child.
The teenager was not one of his students.
We are learning more about a wanted registered sex offender in James City County. Police say Kevin Christian cut off his court-ordered ankle monitor. Christian is considered armed and dangerous. New at 4, 10 on your side's Ethan Krause has a message for detectives searching for Christian.
Yeah, that's right. If you see the man that was just on your screen, call 911 immediately. That was the message from James City County Police as they continue the search for sex offender Kevin Christian. Now, Christian is wanted for cutting off his court-ordered ankle monitor last week. Police say he's since made claims that he would rather get into violent confrontations with them than go back to jail. A neighbor who lives near the home Christian was staying in sent us this porch video. They say Christian walked onto their porch around 4 a.m. last Wednesday. Police say if you see Christian, do not approach. He is considered armed and dangerous.
We are following up on different tips that are dated at this point in time, so we strongly encourage in the moment if you see him, call 911 so that way we can start getting eyes on that area or wherever he's being reported as soon as possible. Keep your distance, be a good observer, call 911. And don't get in any sort of confrontation with Mr. Christian. Don't approach him because, again, he's still considered armed and dangerous. He's an unpredictable character. We definitely want to promote your safety.
Now, I'll have more from that porch video as well as more from Lieutenant White on police's search for Christian coming up on Wavy News 10 at 6. Live in studio, Ethan Krause, 10 on your side.
Bill man is accused of being in possession of child sexual abuse materials. Police say Christopher McBride was arrested at his home yesterday. Officers say he admitted to buying and downloading material back in February of last year. McBride told police that the transaction occurred on the dark web. He is charged with possession matter of sex performance by a minor.
To this, disgusted, appalled, embarrassed, scared. Those are just some of the words used today to describe the impact from these AI child pornography images. And those words were all from just one victim. 20 student victim impact statements were presented today, still just a third of the total victims. And they described again and again the real consequences of these so-called fake photos. Over the course of more than 3 hours in court Wednesday, victims and parents did not hold back against these former students. You treated 60 young, happy women like trash, said the mother of victim number 35. You tried to reduce me to a photo, but a photo can't speak. But I am speaking right now. Victim 11's statement read. Victim 17 cried as she read from her statement, hands shaking, holding the paper it was typed on. Quote, "This situation has turned my life into a living hell." The young woman said she suffers from nearly daily panic attacks and now needs medication to manage her anxiety. She says she started pulling out little bits of her hair and shared, quote, "That's so embarrassing to admit because no normal person does that, but nothing is normal about this situation." Victim number 35 said what many girls echoed, quote, "You took away part of my innocence and dignity that I could never get back." After the hearing, one of the victims agreed to talk if we didn't show her face, and she shared her continued anger at the defendant's lack of remorse.
I thought it was kind of insanity to hear 30 victim statements about how you've destroyed like 60 girls' lives over the span of the last 2 years, and you have nothing to say for yourself. And I think that's very disgraceful of them.
The judge sentenced the pair to 6 months supervised probation, a rehabilitation program, to pay $12,000 restitution for counseling costs, and to have no contact with the victims.
I have no faith that they're not just going to keep doing this to other girls they know, but this time they know how to hide it better.
She and other girls say the boys' recklessness has ruined their high school years and perhaps years to come.
It was very tragic. I think my school community has basically deteriorated. There's no sense of trust in my school. It's like very anxious walking into that building, not knowing who you can trust. And I think because of this situation, I'm not sure that LCDS will ever be able to gain the trust of its students back.
So we should note that the guidelines for community service are 20 hours, but the judge did increase those hours to 60 hours. He said 1 for each victim in that case.
Very emotional in that courtroom. Very brave of those girls to talk about that.
I spoke to some of the girls last night and reached out to some of the families that we had been working with over these 2 years, and they were so anxious leading up to this. It was a lot of emotions just getting there, and a lot of them just didn't want to even be in the courtroom with the two defendants, but they stood up and they said what they had to say, and they felt confident after it was all said and done.
Very strong.
No, it was brave to do that.
I'll say. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Let's get started with your news updates for today, starting with some news out of Nash County. A multi-county undercover operation in Eastern Carolina has led to the arrest of 16 people accused of trying to prey on children online. The State Bureau of Investigation says the February operation in Nashville involved 13 law enforcement agencies investigating sexual predators who say they spoke with children under 16. During the operation, SBI says officers pretended to be minors and spoke with the suspects online, leading to their arrests. Now, there are multiple charges, multiple people charged. Like I said, 16 people accused. Some of those charges include solicitation of a child by computer, first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. You can check our website, WIT.
A Virginia man who is also a Secret Service officer will stand trial after state police say he had sexually explicit conversations with an underage girl from Lancaster County who he knew. 28-year-old Tristan Hale is charged with sending a series of sexually inappropriate text messages and also pictures to a girl between October 2025 and this past January. His case will now go to county court after he waived his preliminary hearing earlier this month.
A tip leads to the arrest of a South Beloit man on child pornography charges. Police raided the Hunter Way home of Aaron Hundley yesterday. The investigation started in December. South Beloit police say a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children led them to the 32-year-old. Hundley is charged with possession and dissemination of child sexual abuse material. He's being held in the Winnebago County Jail.
And topping our news, a tip led to an investigation that resulted in an arrest in a case involving child pornography. WHKY's Ariana Mack has the story.
That's correct, Rob. A Statesville man is facing multiple child exploitation charges following an investigation by the Iredell County Sheriff's Office. Deputies say the case began January 10th after a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reported a possible suspect in possession of child pornography. The investigation was assigned to the Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit. Detective E. Lane identified the suspect as 38-year-old Matthew Scott Sells of Old Mountain Road. Search warrant warrants for Sell's online accounts led to the discovery of several files of child pornography. Investigators say Sells later confessed during an interview. Additional search warrants for his electronic devices uncovered thousands of more files. As a result, Sells has been charged with 10 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. He was arrested Sunday, March 22nd, and taken to the Iredell County Detention Center, where he received a $250,000 secured bond. Authorities say the investigation is ongoing and more charges could be filed. Reporting for WHKY, I'm Ariana Mack.
Crime Watch, a Reno man facing 5 years in prison after being convicted of possessing child sexual abuse material. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children sent a tip to law enforcement that starting in 2024, William Diaz began downloading those materials. Court documents showed that a search of his home revealed more than 6,200 illicit images, more than 400 videos, all stored on his devices, and the children were under the age of 12. Diaz, already a registered sex offender, and FBI agents say he is a serious threat to children. In addition to jail time, he will serve 15 years of supervised release.
Trips to Kings Island, ice cream, and special attention. Warren County prosecutors say the grooming led to sex crime charges. Thanks for joining us at 5:30. I'm Lindsay Stone.
And I'm Chris Jacobs. The alleged victims in this case are all elementary school-aged boys. And WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson is live in Lebanon with the story you'll only see right here on WLWT. Karen.
Yeah, good evening, Chris. To some children in Michael Waldron's previous neighborhood, he was the fun neighbor, the one who took them places to Kings Island, McDonald's, bought them things, gave them money. But to prosecutors, it was all part of the grooming process.
Hey, how you doing? Hi, good. How are you? Good. How are you? Can you step out real quick?
This is the moment deputies arrested 56-year-old Michael Waldron, who was on the phone with his attorney at the time of the traffic stop.
Just turn around. He's taking my phone. Okay. You can listen. Is that your lawyer? Yes. Okay. What's going on? You got a warrant for your arrest.
Waldron was indicted on 12 child sex-related crimes. The licensed real estate appraiser is accused of grooming and molesting children, 4th and 5th graders, in the Lebanon neighborhood where he previously lived.
We know that there were at least 6 boys who were victimized by this man. And so if you're asking me, could there potentially be other victims out there? Absolutely.
The alleged crimes took place over a 4-year period, starting in 2021, according to the indictment. Investigators say Waldron would take children to Kings Island, have them over his house, and offer them treats and money.
Just a really sick individual to kind of target this group of mostly neighborhood boys and befriend them and then begin the grooming process with them.
Prosecutor David Fornchell says some parents grew uneasy and warned Waldron to stay away. But investigators say he continued contacting the kids.
He was on group chats just with these boys, and so there were a lot of obviously inappropriate things that were going on.
Waldron's attorney, J. Tanner Duncan, releasing a statement saying, while we understand the serious nature of the allegations, Mr. Waldron remains innocent until proven guilty and looks forward to his day in court. And Waldron had his bond set at $100,000. Records show he posted that bond and is currently out of jail on a GPS monitor. I should mention, records also show he no longer lives in that neighborhood in Lebanon and is currently living in Mason. Reporting live tonight in Warren County, Karen Johnson, WLWT News.
We begin tonight with parents at the Sky-Comish School Board meeting pressing for more answers after an AP teacher was arrested earlier this month. They're wondering if the superintendent will face any consequences after the incident. And tonight, they got their answer. Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling has more with what the board decided.
The board put the superintendent on leave tonight, and although some parents tell us they'd like to see him fired, the board says the internal investigation is still underway.
We're going to proceed with a superintendent's statement.
Parents once again packed the Sky-Comish School Board meeting, hoping to hear a statement from Superintendent Destry Jones, who was not in attendance. This is video of him from last week's board meeting.
Unfortunately, Dr. Destry Jones will not be available to make his statement.
Though he's not been accused of any crimes, parents say they lost trust in Jones because because students and staff had been reporting issues with the PE teacher, Daniel Bubar, prior to his arrest for child rape. Court documents state that several complaints were made about the teacher. At one point, the principal at the school told Bubar that he couldn't be alone with the victim, which was enforced by having another child with them while they were together rather than an adult.
This board has a lot of big decisions to be making, and I know we will make them with our students and families in mind.
After the board director made that comment, they then moved to go into executive session.
Only my office, I can't listen either.
And everyone had to leave.
I'm so confused to be told, oh, well, go kick rocks for an hour and a half while we sort our stuff, and then you can come back. Is it a little frustrating? Definitely.
After the board reconvened, they put Superintendent Destry Jones on leave and appointed the school board director, Alberto Laverde, as the acting superintendent.
The board members that were present tonight, we met, we deliberated, we debated, we consulted with our legal counsels, and we took action.
One woman spoke after the decision, calling for more information.
So no one knows anything?
It's an ongoing criminal investigation. We can't say anything.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yep.
So no one has any information?
Correct.
Thank you.
Tonight, the school board also approved a motion to give the acting superintendent the ability to put other personnel on leave where appropriate if they are mentioned in the investigation. Reporting from Skycomish, Jennifer Dowling, Fox 13 News.
In Covington County tonight, an Andalusia man has been arrested on charges of rape after a reported sexual assault in a home in Covington County last month. Court documents show 50-year-old Marlon Keith Bozeman, who you see here, is charged with first-degree rape. The victim in the case reportedly told police that Bozeman came over under the pretense of talking about a job, but once he got inside her house, he followed her into a bedroom and assaulted her. A detective says in a recorded phone call, Bozeman did not deny the encounter. Instead, he apologized, according to investigators, and offered money when the victim told him that she was planning to call police. His bond was set at $150,000. The White House.
A paroled rapist caught allegedly masturbating in his truck with a violent criminal history. Investigators in Bloomfield Township say they had to get him off the streets. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack is live in our newsroom to give us the backstory of this suspect. Jessica.
Root, before he was caught this time, 35-year-old Cruz Jelks was convicted for robbing and raping a 40-year-old woman back in 2008. He apparently did it at an apartment complex in a parking lot in front of the poor woman's toddler in broad daylight. Now going to February, where he has been charged recently, a 14-year-old girl spotted him in the parking lot at the Bloomfield Plaza at Telegraph and Maple. She says he was touching himself with his genitals and it was exposed, but he was inside of his truck. She and her older sister called police, reporting a plate and description. That was essential information for Bloomfield Township Police to catch him. Cruz was charged today with aggravated indecent exposure. That is a misdemeanor, but the judge handing out a $75,000 bond without 10%.
There's people all over there, so for him to blatantly do this in the open, he needs to be stopped, and there needs to be some protection for our community, especially our younger community who doesn't deserve to see this.
Going back to Jelks priors from 2008, he was actually just 2 days away from being paroled before this most recent incident. Again, his bond pretty hefty for a misdemeanor in this case, $75,000, no 10%. Reporting live in the newsroom, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, and it's so good on the people who decided to, look at the car and look at the license plate, call police. It's a message to all of us that if we see something, we should say something, because you don't know what this could lead to. This is the kind of person who does this allegedly. God knows what could be next.
And that's it. It was really because of that 14-year-old girl knowing to look at the license plate, knowing to look at the make and model of the car and get a physical description. It took police a little bit to catch up with him, but it worked, that along with some surveillance cameras, and that's how he got caught.
Jessica Dupnack for us live tonight in our newsroom. Thank you.
And we begin with breaking news out of Fayette County. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Shumway. Barry Pintar is off. A second teacher at the Laurel Highlands High School is now facing charges for inappropriate behavior with a student. This comes just days after another teacher's arrest for similar allegations. Shelley Bortz is live outside the magistrate's office this noon with what happens there now and moving forward. Shelley.
Well, Daniel Cervone just left the magistrate's office here in North Union Township moments ago after being formally arraigned, as you said, on serious charges for allegedly engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct with a student. Now, Cervone was escorted from Laurel Highlands High School this morning in handcuffs. This is the second teacher arrested in less than a week at the same school, leaving parents and the community demanding answers about student safety and oversight. Now, this is the first look at Cervone as he walks into the magistrate here for his formal arraignment. He is facing charges including institutional sexual assault, corruption of minors, and unlawful contact with a minor. Now, state police say they received a report regarding inappropriate contact between an adult and a minor. An investigation was initiated, which led to the identification of Cervone, Laurel Highlands High School junior ROTC instructor. Now, authorities say this is, again, the second teacher arrested in less than a week for similar allegations. Now, this leaves parents, students, and the community shaken, demanding answers and questioning what safeguards are in place at that high school to protect the students. Now, the school district did issue a statement. They say they are fully cooperating with authorities and taking steps to ensure student safety. Now, we're going to continue to follow this case today, and we will bring you the very latest on KDKA TV News starting today at 4. But for now, reporting live in North Union Township, Shelley Bortz, KDKA TV News.
If you've been a parent or you believe in the innocence of children, there's nothing more you need to focus on as far as investigating and going after those that their intention is to remove that innocence from that child.
You can't just log on to a computer and pick an area where you want to begin an investigation. You don't know where your investigation is going to take you at the onset in luring-style investigations.
This is so rampant online. Kids really need someone to help protect them.
Absolutely.
Whether it's the police or their parents or whoever it is.
For more information, visit protectchildren.ca.
One for Rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.